Okay, so we need to calculate what are the fundamental frequencies of this automobile. So for that, he has given, and also those two modes, those two principal modes of vibration in this diagram he has given. So one is bouncing motion, means the automobile move vertically up and down, and then it can rotate about this vertical axis, something like this. So these two motions we'll call them as a fundamental modes. So one will call it as bouncing mode, that is in the, it will move in the upward direction, up and down, and at the same time it will tilt like this, top to bottom. So this end will go up and this one will go down, or this one will go up, this will go down. So that what we'll call it as pitching motion. So both the wheels move up and down, we'll call it as a bouncing motion. So when it is bouncing, what is the natural frequency? When it is pitching, what is the natural frequency? We need to calculate. So this entire car is modeled as a 2-degree freedom system. So that's why only two natural frequencies will have. So that's why he said it is a bouncing and pitching. So that means you need to take this centroid. So the entire automobile will model it as a only a point mass. So that point mass is located at the centroid, so CG of the automobile. So this is the point mass. This mass will move vertically up and down, and at the same time it will have a bouncing pitching motion, something like this. So in that case, what we need to do is we need to calculate what are the natural frequencies, right? So he has given the mass, and also since it is a pitching motion is there, we require mass movement of inertia also. But instead of directly giving the mass movement of inertia here, he has given mass and radius of gyration. So I can calculate mass movement of inertia. I is nothing but, we already know from vibration course, we have done so many times this. I is nothing but mass times radius of gyration, square of radius of gyration, mk square. So m is given it as 1000, and k is given, radius of gyration k is given as 0.9. So now if I substitute that, so 1000 into 0.9 square, which is nothing but 0.9 square is 0.81. 0.81 into 1000, what we are going to get is 810. Well, the units will be, mass will have units of kg, and then radius of gyration as a units of meters. So you are taking square of the k, so we'll get the units as kg meter square. Okay, kg meter units. So that is I. So we are taking the two inertia properties. One is mass, already given 1000 k is mass movement of inertia. I is given indirectly. Then, so this automobile have some suspension system. So that suspension system is modeled as two springs. So front suspension system is modeled as a front spring, and rear suspension system is modeled as another spring. So for those two springs, he has given the stiffness also. 18 kilonewton per meter is for the front suspension, and 22 kilonewton per meter is the rear suspension. But while inputting the data in the software, you need to make sure that you need to give this one in newtons, because we're taking mass in meters, we'll take force in newtons only. So kg here, kg is there. So therefore, you need to input this stiffness as 18,000 Newton per meter. Instead of 18 kilonewton meter, you need to input as 18,000. This has 22,000. And also has given the location of the CG, that is from this front suspension, the CG is at a distance of L1. L1 he has given it as 1 meter. It is center of gravity located at 1 meter behind the front wheel. So this is the front wheel, behind 1 meter means, so this distance L1 is 100. And the total wheel base, that means from this point center of the front wheel to the center of the rear wheel, that the distance what we'll call it as a wheel base. Wheel base distance is has given it as 2.5 meters. So that means this is 1 meter, this is your L2 is 1.5 meters. So that this total distance from center to center distance of the wheels, what we'll call it as wheel base is 2.5 meters. So now He has given everything. So we need to model this problem in the software. So to model that, first we need to identify the appropriate elements for each thing. Then we'll model it. So now, see, this is the mathematical model. What you can say is this is the mathematical model for the given problem. So now I want to convert this mathematical model into an FE model. So for that, I need to identify the appropriate elements, and then I need to define what are their properties also. So for that, so first here I have a point mass, that is the mass of the entire vehicle is located or concentrated at this particular point where we'll call it as a CG. So now I need to create a mass element to define the mass and mass moment of inertia for this automobile at this location. So that is one element I need to create. So one element for defining mass and mass moment of inertia of the automobile. Then here this front suspension spring, I need to create one more element for this. So to define the front suspension, similarly to define the rear suspension, I need to define one more element. Then these are connected, these suspension systems are connected through two elements, something like this. So this is one element connecting front suspension to the CG, and another element which connects the CG to the rear suspension. So that means how many elements I need to create? It is total 5 elements. One is for this spring, front suspension spring. Another one is for the rear suspension spring. One element for the mass and 2 elements here. So to connect CG to the front suspension as well as a rear suspension. Okay, so to do that, so what type of element I need to select in the software? So for that, here we need to select 3 different types of elements. What are those 3 different types of elements is? Before going to the elements, first what I'll do is, I'll identify the numbers, nodes first, where I have to create the nodes. Then I'll select what are different element types I need to select, and how I can create the elements. So we'll see that. So first we need to identify the nodes, how many number of nodes we need to create. So first to create this spring, so here I need to create one node because spring has some length. So starting point of the spring and ending point of the spring. So I need to create one node here. Let us say it is node number as 1. So this number as 2. Then here, so at this location, I need to create one more node because I want to define that mass element. So I'll take this was 3. Then again for this spring, so I need to define 4 nodes to define the starting point and ending point of the spring. So total I need to create how many number of nodes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then what are their coordinates? So that also we need to fix now. So then only I can create. So in the software, to create the nodes, I need to identify what are their XYZ coordinates. Of course, this is a plane motion. Always your Z coordinate is going to be 0. Only have X coordinate and Y coordinate. So now I'll fix my reference point at this point. So that means I'll start from here. I'll start from node 1. If I do that, what are the coordinates for node 1? Since it is located at the origin, the total points for the node 1 is 0, X is 0, Y is 0. Then what are the nodal coordinates for node 2?
0.
It is X is 0 because it is same length only, but Y is actually, if you know the length of the spring length is not given in the problem. Y is not given the length of the spring here is, it doesn't matter. It is not going to influence here. So except in case of pre-stressed analysis, pre-stressed spring, no need to have any length. So we'll assume that. So since he has not given the length of the spring, I will take the length of the spring as 1 meter. So you can take any value. If you want, you can take any value. It doesn't matter. It is not going to influence your solution. You are going to get the same solution, whatever length you are taken. For my convenience, I take it as 1 meter. So therefore, for this node, the coordinate is 0, 1.
Okay, sir.
So then I'll come to the node 3. So for node 3, what should be the coordinates now? These are on the same line. So node 3 will coordinates will be. So what is x coordinate from this point to this point? What is this distance? This distance he has given the distance between the front suspension and the centroid as
1 meter.
So therefore, for node 3, the coordinate x coordinate is 1, y coordinate is also 1. So because
1.
they are at the same level. So both CG and this end of the spring, they are at the same level, it is 1. Then coming to the node 4. Again, what is the x coordinate? So from this wheelbase, so from this point to this
1.5.
2.5. X coordinate will be from center from this point to this point, it is 1.5. But
Okay, sir.
our origin is here. So we need to measure from this point. What is the x coordinate?
2.5.
2.5. 2.5. And y coordinate is
1.
1. So these are the coordinates for the node 4. Then similarly, node 5 is, these are on the same line because this
0,
is 2.5. X is 2.5, not 0. It is 0.
Okay, sir.
You are
Y
measuring
is-
from this point in the x direction, it is a distance of 2.5.
Okay, sir.
Comma, y is 0.
Yes, sir. Y is
2.5 comma 0. So that means we need to define 5 nodes. So we know the nodal coordinates also. Nodal coordinates for node 1 0 0, node 2 0 comma 1, node 3 1 comma 1, node 4 2.5 comma 1, and node 2.5 comma 0. Okay, right. So now once I define the nodes, then I need to define the elements. So to define the elements here, because here you have 3 different types of elements, so we need to select 3 different types of elements. So springs are modeled in the software using combination 14. We'll call it as combined 14. So using this element, you can model both dampers as well as springs. So for these 2 springs, we need to add this combination 14 element. Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Japandi. ఎంఓఎస్ ల్యాబ్ రఘురాంగ్ గారు ఇస్తా అనండి ఒకసారి అడుగుతారు ఇవ్వలేదా ఓకే సార్ ఎందుకంటే మరి డేటా అంతా తన దగ్గరే ఉంది తను ఇస్తా అని చెప్పాడు నేను ఇప్పుడు లాస్ట్ ఫ్రైడేనే ఇప్పుడు చెప్పినట్టు అంత ముందు నేను ఇస్తాను సార్ అన్నాడు మరి హెచ్ఓడి గారు సైన్ చేయించి కూడా ఇస్తా అన్నాడు మరి ఒకసారి నేను కాల్ చేసి కనుక్కోనా సరే సార్ ఓకే సార్ మేబీ ఈరోజు తను వచ్చి ఉండడం అయితే సరే సార్ ఓకే సార్ అట్లాగే సార్ ఓకే సార్ Okay, so we'll use combination element for these 2 springs. Then to model this mass, we need to use mass element, which is called mass 21. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you are there, right?
Yes, sir.
So mass 21 is used for this one. Then to connect the suspension system to this centroid, we'll use beam elements. So like this, we need to add 3 element types. So not a single element type. Here that is a little bit confusing because you have different elements. So far, whatever problems you solved, there we use maximum only 1 element type. So for our entire problem, we use only 1 element type. But now we need to use 3 element types. To model, you need to use combination 14. To model the mass, a rigid mass
21.
Mass 21. To connect those centroids and to the suspension system, you need to use beam elements. So now for the combination for these two springs, you need to define the stiffnesses. So that stiffness is defined through real constants. For this mass, you need to define what is mass and what is mass moment of inertia. That also defined through real constants. For this beam, you need to define what is the Young's modulus and what is the Poisson's ratio, and what is the section, what is the geometry of this beam, whether it is rectangular or circular, whatever it may be, what are its dimensions. Those things you need to define through sections. So since he has not given any properties for the beam or connecting member, here you can take arbitrarily, you can take any properties for beam. So let us take steel properties. So that is Young's modulus is 200 GPa. Poisson's ratio I can take it as 0 also, no problem. It won't influence your solution also. So that is the proper. Those are the properties we need to use for the beam. Then we need to use a section. Let us say we'll consider a rectangle section for this beam of 1 by 1, something like that. Any section you can consider. Even that is also not going to influence your solution. Only thing is, if you need to define the stiffnesses of the two springs are properly, and also this location of the centroid and mass moment of inertia. So only that will influence your solution, because that will if those properties are going to change, your solution is also going to change. Okay, so we model that and we'll try to solve the problem. So what I do is, see, I've taken this problem from our vibration course. If you have the textbook, you can go through that. So this is the problem what I have taken. Determine the pitch and bounce frequencies of the location of the oscillator. So this is the data what I have taken from that also. So you can see this is the data. So in our vibration course, we already know how to solve this problem. It is a 2-degree freedom system. You can construct the mass matrix and stiffness matrix and write the characteristic equation. From that, you will get, this is the equation. Then if you solve that polynomial characteristic equation, you will get the natural frequencies. So here the solution what he has given it is W1 and W2. Two frequencies are there. So W1 is 5.85 and W2 is 9.4 radians per second. So here he has given the frequencies are in radians per second. But in the software, after software will give you the result only in terms of H. So there is a relation omega and radians, omega and F. F is nothing. F is nothing but omega by 2 or omega is equal to 2 f. So if you want to have frequency in hertz, what you have to do is you need to divide this one by 2 Then you can compare the solution, whatever solution you got in the ANSYS, you compare that with this analytical solution. Then you can check also whether your answer is correct or not. Your simulation results are correct or not. You can verify that also. Okay. Let us go to the, so just remember these values. So or else what I can do is, after evaluating those results from the software, then we'll compare. So whether these values are matching with the, our ANSYS results are matching with these analytical results or not. We'll see that also. Okay. So to go with that, so first what we need to do is, first we need to define 3 element types. Then for each element type, for spring and for combination 14, you need to define spring properties through real constants. For mass 21 also, you need to define the real constants to define mass and mass moment of inertia. For beam, you need to define Young's modulus, and also you need to define the section. So I'll move on to the software. Okay, it is not run that. So I'll run this. So only thing is, don't confuse. Here we need to define properly all the properties. Probably is simple, but only thing is, while defining the elements, you need to make sure that all the attributes of the elements are correct. Once that is done, it is going to be very simple problem only. Then nothing is there. So I'll go for first preprocessor. I'll add all those element types what I mentioned. So go for add element types. So first one is structural mass. Here as you can see, mass 21 is there. I'll click apply. So that mass 21 is getting added here. Then I need to select beam element. So 2-node beam element, we already know this. We have solved problems on this. So beam 188 is added. Then you come down on the scroll down box, left scroll down box. So here you have a combination is there. In that you have spring damper 14 is there. You select that also. So here you need to select these, or you need to add these 3 elements to types to your environment. So mass 21 to model that mass, beam is to model the connectivity between the center of gravity and suspension system. Combination 14 is for the suspension system. And then again, after selecting this mass, you need to set the options for the mass. So generalized is 3D. But here in our problem, it is only 2D. So
Yes, sir.
it is moving up and rotating in only single plane. So it is a 2D problem. So then instead of 3D, what I'll do is I'll select 2D. Even if you select 3D also doesn't matter. But to be precise, I will select it is 2D with rotatory inertia because we are considering the rotary motion also. We need to consider 2D with rotary inertia. So this is the option we need to select. So of course for beam, no need to select any option because all are default options only. No need to select anything here. So whatever default things is there, you can take them as is. No need to change anything. For combination 14, so you need to select what type of spring it is, whether it is a spring, linear spring or rotary spring, torsional spring, or else how many degrees of freedom are there, whether it is 2D or 3D. So here you can select here. So longitudinal UX, UY, UZ, rotational X or something like this. So the depending upon the application what you want to have here. So you can select anything here. So what I'll do is I won't change it here, but here DOF selection for 2D and 3D. What I do is I'll select 2D longitudinal spring here. So that means the spring will move in only in a plane. So that too, the spring is a longitudinal. It's not a torsional spring or a torsional spring. It is only longitudinal spring. I need to select this option also. So if you select like this only, you will get the correct results. Otherwise, it will take default values and it will solve for you. You may get some other value. Okay. Taking the options here, then we need to move on to define those real constants. That is the properties of all those elements. So now if I click on real constant and say click on set, then I need to click on add. So now first I will define the mass properties. So I'll select here this mass 21, which is defining our mass. I'll select that mass 21. And also here be careful while selecting or defining it, you need to remember which real constant set you are defining for what. So here first set we are defining it for the mass. So it is asking for what is the mass. So mass is given as 1000 kgs. And what is rotary inertia? Z, about Z. So IZZ. I we calculated, that is mk square is nothing but
8
already calculated. I'll click OK. So that means the set 1 is defined. Set 1 is defined for mass element.
Okay.
Then again I'll click. Now what I do is I'll define the properties for the front suspension, that is the front spring. So I select combination. Now the set real constant step number is 2 is I am going to define. For that, what is the stiffness? Front suspension is given it as 18 kilonewton per meter. So if I convert that one into Newton per meter, it becomes 18,000. So real constant set 2 is defined for the front spring. So click OK. Then set 2 is added here. Then add one more for the rear suspension. So again, you need to select a combination 14 element. Click OK. So now set 3 is for the rear suspension, which is having a 22,000 Newton per meter stiffness. So enter K. Damping coefficient is given it as 0. No need to enter. If it is 0, obviously the blank will be treated as 0. No need to enter those values. Click OK. Okay, like this you need to define the real constants for all the properties. Then you go for material models, so that I can define the material for the beam elements. So here structural, linear, elastic, isotropic, we already know this. So I'll give the steel properties, that is 211 or 200 GPa and Poisson's ratio as 0. So that is the material what I am going to use for the beam. And in addition to that material property, I need to define the section for the beam. So I'll go for beam, common section. I'll take it as a rectangle as the section of dimensions 1 meter by 1 meter. Click OK. So now I define all the attributes required to define all the elements. So now I'll create the nodes. We already discussed earlier, we need to create 5 nodes. So we need coordinates for those 5 nodes also. I'll create those nodes directly. So to do that, I'll go for modeling, create, then you click on nodes in active coordinate system. So node numbering, I'll take default. It will give you the automatic numbering. So only thing is I'll enter the coordinates. So here first one is at 0, 0. I'll click apply. So blank will be taken as 0. First is created. The second one is
0, 1.
0, 1. So I need to enter y coordinate as 1. So click apply. Then 2 will be created. See, you can see here the 2 is appearing here. Then third,
Sir.
1, 1. So
1.
1, 1. And fourth node is
2.5 in comma 1.
1. And the fifth node is 2.5, 0.
0.
So you can see now there are 5 nodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you want, you can verify through this also. List, go for the list and then click on nodes. So you can click OK here. So you can see the nodes and their corresponding XYZ coordinates also. So obviously Z is 0 for all the nodes. Only XY coordinates are changed. 1 is 0, 0. 2 is 0, 1. 3 is 1, 1. 4 is 2.5, 1, and 5 is 2.5, 0. Once we verify this, if these are the correct things, so then nodal creation is over. Then I'll go for element creation. So here I need to click again element. So here one important thing what you need to remember is the element attributes means the element properties are different. Mass element properties are different. The spring element properties are different. Breville properties are different. So you need to do the creation of that elements carefully because their properties are different. So whatever element you are creating first, then select the properties of that particular element, then you create the element. So now what I'll do is first I'll create the mass element. So for mass element, I need to select mass 21 as the element type. So I cannot use mass 21 to create beam elements. To create beam elements, I need to select a beam element type. Element type should be beam only. To create the spring, I need to select here the element type as combination. So these elementary attributes are very important. If you are not defined these things are properly, you are not going to get your answer. Okay, right. So first mass element I am defining. So here default is mass 21 is selected. That is okay, perfect. Then real constant set also you need to select properly. So I define 3 sets. First set I defined for the mass 21 only. So I need to select 1. So then, okay, so don't bother about here material and section number. Even though they are appearing here, it won't use it to define these properties of this mass 21. Only it will look at what is the real constant set, what is the element type. So you select this element type as mass 21 and select real constant number as 1 for the mass element. So once you set that, then go for auto numbered and through nodes. I want to create the elements through nodes. So for the numbering, it will give the auto numbering. So where will be our mass? Our mass is located at this node.
Node 3.
Where centroid is there, you need to select that centroid. So centroid, we are taking the centroid as at node 3. So select that node 3, then click OK. So element will be created here. So if you want to verify it whether it is created or not, you can go for again just like nodes, you can go for your elements, click on this. So element 1 is created. Earlier there won't be any elements, now element 1 is there. Which material what you need to select is type 1 is 1 and then real constant 1. So you need to verify these two and also node number should be 3. So like that you can check whether you are defined it properly or not. Then I want to define those 2 springs. First I'll take up the front suspension. So for that, what you have to do is to first your element type for the spring. Shit, it is I think by mistake it is closed. I don't know why it is crashed, not closed. It is crashed. So again,
Okay.
I will do it fastly, quickly up to that point again.
Okay. 2.5, sir.
Okay, I'll save this. Okay, so we're done up to this point. Then we'll move on to the front suspension. So for that, first what I need to do is I need to select the element type as combination 14. Then I need to select the rail transfer set as 2 for the this first front spring. So then again I'll use the auto numbering. I'll select node 1 and node 2. That is the front spring. Then I need to use the same element type because it is a spring only, rail suspension also, but its stiffness is different. To define that different stiffness, I select rail cam set number as 3, then click OK. Then again use these auto numbering to select 4 and 5 to define that spring. So then we need to go for defining the beam elements. So for that, you need to select the beam element type. So material property you need to here while defining the beam element, you need to make sure that material number should be 1 and section number should be 1. So other things don't bother. But real constant, it won't take that value. Even though it is appearing here, it won't take that value. Click OK. Then through nodes, first connect front suspension to the CG, apply, then CG to the rear suspension. Click OK. Okay, so now we completed all the things. So now you can verify all the elements also. So whether you define it all the elements. So we talked about 5 elements. We created the 5 elements. So these are the properties. So you can check here you can cross check whether you define them properly or not. Here they are all looking fine. So I'll proceed further. So now once you created the elements, then what you need to do is you need to go for constraints, loads and boundary conditions you need to define. So for that, here, see if you look at this here, this is the ground. So ground will be always, it is a fixed one. So the vehicle is moving on the ground. So therefore, I need to fix these two ends. So to do that, I'll go for define loads, apply structural displacement on nodes. I'll select node 1, node 5 because they are ground. So I'll fix all degree of freedom. Fixed means I'll constrain all degrees of freedom for those two nodes. Click OK. Right? So then, since we are talking about this automobile is only having pitching and bouncing motion, means vertical motion and a rotary motion, I don't want to have other degrees of freedom. So actually, if you take a beam element here, 6 degrees of freedom are there. I want to constrain all those unnecessary degrees of freedom for node 2, node 3, and node 4. So here for node 2, node 3, node 4 is I don't want to use it. Unselect all degree of freedom. You need to select UZ, rotation X and rotation Y because I want only vertical and only one translation and one rotation, and the translation is along Y direction and rotation is about Z axis. So therefore, one more constraint I need to apply for the node 3, that is the X translation. So here I'll select UX also. Okay, so like this, you need to apply the constraints. So all the constraints are applied as per the given mathematical model. So now I need to go for the solution. So to get the solution natural frequencies, we need to run the model analysis. So default is static structural, but I need to select my analysis type as model. Like in earlier problem or previous problem, to compute the buckling problem, we selected eigenbuckling. So now to compute the natural frequencies, I need to select the model as my analysis type. Then click OK. Then what you need to do is you need to select analysis options and you need to define what type of solver you are using and also how many modes you require. Of course, here we have only 2 degrees of freedom. It will have only 2 natural frequencies. You can go for 2. Less than 2 you cannot give. You can give more than 2 any. Let us say if I give 2, enter 2 here, it will give 2 frequencies. If I enter 1, it will give only 1 frequency value. If I enter 5 or 6 or 10, more than 2, any value also it will give only 2 frequencies because the system has only 2 frequencies. Let us say here I give 4 and also number of modes to expand also 4 here. So even though I enter here 4, but the system has only 2 natural frequencies, it will list out only two values, 2 frequencies. Click OK. Then this you keep it as default. So then go for solve current LS. Click OK. So it will take solve in a fraction of seconds. So I'll close this. Now I want to check the frequency values. Here the frequency values is given in the output window. If you open the output window, see, is it visible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Value is also visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see here mode frequency within the brackets. He has given the unit as. It కనిపిస్తుందా?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, what are the units for the frequency? Here he has mentioned
Hertz.
hertz. So first frequency, what is the value? 0.9325. Second frequency is
1.501480.
Yes. So those are the frequency values. So you can see those values here also. So 0.925. Only thing is I shown you that output window is to identify what are the units. So here in this you don't have units here. Units you don't get units here. Only thing is you have a frequency values here. 0.92, 93253, 1.5, 1.50. So these are the 2 frequencies. See, while before solving we want 4 frequency values, but it is giving only 2 frequency values. Why? Because the system maximum having only 2 frequencies. But even though you requested for 4, it will give you only 2 frequency values because the system has only 2 frequencies, because it is a 2 degree freedom system. Right, now I want to compare this solution with our analytical solution. So what is the analytical solution values? 5.98 and 9.34. So
Yes, sir.
these are in radians per second, right?
Yes, sir.
These are in radians per second. Whatever values we got, it is in hertz. So if I multiply these values by 2.5, I need to get these 2 values. So if I get, so I'll take the calculator, just I'll verify it.
Divided by 0.25, sir.
Omega is equal to 2.5f formula, right? The formula is omega equal to 2.5f. So here omega values is 5.83. So now
85.
here I have f values here. So first I'll compute using this f value. I'll compute the omega value. So 2 into pi. Pi is 3.14 into what is the f value? First f1 is 0.93253. So what is the value you got? It is 5.8593. So your analytical solution is also 5.8593. So that means those are exactly matching. Similarly, the second one. So again 2 times 5, 2 into pi into f2 is 1.5015. So what is the value you are getting? 9.434. So what is your analytical solution? 9.434.
9.2. Yes, sir.
So both are matching exactly. Okay, so that means whatever analysis we done, that is correct. So in record, what you can do is either you can record, you take these values, you record it as like this only. But while writing that, you need to mention the units. If you write 0.9325, there should be in edges. 1.5, that is also in edge. Or if you want to convert that one into radians per second, you convert and write that value. Whatever, anything is okay. So this is about the natural frequencies. Then next is I want to see how it is going to vibrate. So like I mentioned in the PPT here, so it is going to, it have two types of motions. One is bouncing motion, other one is pitching motion. So now I can visualize those two motions also through our animations. So for that, first mode is the bouncing motion. So for that, what I need to do is I go for read results. I'll use as by pick. I'll pick the first frequency here. Sorry. I'll read it. I'll pick the first frequency and I'll read it. I'll close this. Then what I do is I will animate it. So plot control, animate, mode shape. So click OK. So now see how it is moving.
Yes, sir.
It is moving
Like
only.
bouncing.
So it is a first mode. So the vehicle will move or something like this. So then I'll pick the second mode. We select the second mode. So first mode, I'll select the first mode, read, click OK. Then I'll go for plot controls, animate, mode shape, click OK. Yes, this is the first mode. See, it is moving only completely down and it will move up. So there won't be any rotation. So the point should come down and go up. That is the only thing. There should not be any rotation. Earlier, what I mentioned is there is a rotation of this point. This point. So this point is just coming down and going up. There is no rotation for this. So this is your first. So you capture this and you need to keep this in your record. So similarly, I'll go for second mode animation. So select second mode, read, click close. Then you animate the second mode now. So go for second mode animation. So now see it is rotating. So earlier it is only moving up and down. Now it is rotating. So this is the pitching motion. Earlier one is bouncing motion. Now this is the pitching motion. See it is moving. One end is going up, other end is going down. Whereas in the both ends are either going down or going up. So here, if one end is coming down, other end is going down, going up. So you can observe here. If I see here, this end is moving up. If this end, okay, now this is moving up and this is coming down. So they are in the opposite direction. They'll move in opposite direction. Whereas in first mode, they are moving on the same direction. You can observe that also. So that is the first mode of vibration.
Okay, sir.
Plot controls, animate, mode shape. Click OK. Okay, now both the ends are moving down now. Then it comes down, then both ends will move up only. So they are not going to move in opposite direction. If they are moving opposite direction means you have a bouncing motion. If they are moving on, sorry, this is a bouncing motion. When they are moving in opposite directions, you have a pitching motion.
Pitching motion.
Right? So like this, you can animate also. But in the record, you cannot keep this animate because it is a video file. What you can do is, you can go for first read results, then you plot deformed shape, something like this. Plot results, deformed shape. So deformed and undeformed, you can want. If you want, you can keep like this. So this is going to be your mode shape. So you take this one as you capture this image. You can do that. So you capture this image and then keep it in your record. Similarly, select the results for the second mode. This one, read, then click close. Now again plot the result. So plot, contour plot, sorry, not contour plot, only deformed shape. Here you select deformed and undeformed, then click. So now this is the your second mode. So you capture this also. If you want, you can eliminate this deformed shape. If you want only deformed shape, you can say only this. But I want to use deformed and undeformed so that you can easily observe. So this is the point. So this end is moving up and this end is moving down in the second mode. In first mode, they are moving down, completely moving down or completely moving up. You can see that also. We keep those two things in our record.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So
Okay, sir.
everything is clear. Or any other doubt for you?
No, sir. No, sir.
So it's okay now.